Okay, so you are the art trying to explain how you can shift your energies. And so let's say that, a smile doesn't mean that life is perfect. It just means that, life is still in you and that love is still in you and that creation is still within the realms of you being able to appreciate it at the very least. At the very least, we all go through so many things in life where we become a new creation, and that's what it says, in the word. And so at the end of the day, I was just sitting here thinking about after I was listening to a sermon by Sarah Jakes Roberts, and I've been thinking about my intentionality in dating going forward in my life, having been married at a young age and being in a marriage a big chunk of my life, and having to date for the first time in my adult life has been a little overwhelming. And I realized through watching our sermon, I was like, oh my gosh, I've become so, isolated. And, there was a consecration that happened. There was a life shift that happened and things that went forward that had to be worked on and healed on. And, y'all forgive me, I cut myself making homemade food, if you know what I mean, from scratch anyways. And I was thinking about trying to explain to people how a mind shift may happen. So I just wanted to think about something as simple as a smile carrying that divine power that is an act of creation. So if you're believing in something and you believe in God and you believe that you are created no matter where you're at or where you come from. I'm someone who, oh my gosh, dealt with addiction, poverty. I've sold drugs, done drugs, fornication, all the things. I was with the father of my 3 children for 10 years before we decided to get married, and then that 10 years was definitely under attack, you know what I'm saying? And thank God, that life going forward has been able to be managed by making firm decisions about how I was going to proceed moving forward in my life. Even before the divorce in June of 2023, I knew that it was time. I left June 2021, like, that's it. This is the provisions that God has given me going forward. And at the end of the day, I'm just going to have to figure it out, like, along the way. And I just think about the frequency that was within myself, the frequency that I was trying to choose to have actual life from. You can give everything to a certain capacity and then you reach a cap, but the desire is there to elevate in that space. And so God will give you a knowing. He'll give you a knowing, and you wrestle with it. You do wrestle with it. But I thank God because the things that I went through after making that decision, even though some people may look down on it, really blessed me. Like having to go into a domestic violence shelter, even though it really didn't get domestic till the end, or having to make decisions like child support and divorce. And I really crumbled at that time because the only thing that really was able to help me was just the counseling and the women that were there and the community. I have went through such a period of isolation after making that decision to leave that marriage and having to go through the process of making promises to myself that were aligned with God, like being single intentionally for 5 years. Doesn't mean I didn't date or, have sex here and there, but ultimately I knew that I hadn't experienced, anything in the world yet. I hadn't even experienced my own body or anything like that. And so even though I feel more in control for sure and a creature of someone that I haven't met yet, because I'm looking at her right now. Even talking to y'all, or imagine talking to y'all, has been half the blessing, because having to learn how to have actual connection with another person has been difficult for me. I'm not gonna lie, it's been difficult. But anyway, so explaining the frequency. So energy that is given is received. So that was hard to learn in my process. So I had to learn, like, so as simple as it is, if I'm having a bad day, like I said, I've been through homelessness, even when I was married and not married. So it's just a matter of poverty and never having access. I never made over $30,000 in my life, but God has been so gracious to see me through, you know what I mean? And people judge so heavily, like, oh, you're so beautiful, or you have a husband, or, at the time, or whatever. Like, people don't know the inner battle that you face on your calling and your purpose going forward in life, and who you are as a person, and how that may reflect to others, and all those things that don't, really matter. So my purpose in doing this series, and my purpose in doing this, is more so obedience to anything else, because it ain't nothing but the glory of God that found me and came and interrupted my isolation. Like, shout out to Sarah Jake Roberts. Like, it's inevitable, the plan mapped out for your life. So anyways, so changing something as simple as having a bad day and choosing to smile instead, because that's what you have to give today, is a perfect, means of light that still lives within you. And so small changes like that, in a daily devotion, and it's hard for people to stay consistent, especially in the world that we live in, and depending on what you're facing and how you grew up and how you've healed from traumas or not healed from traumas. You have to learn yourself all over again. You got to learn who you are. Excuse the hairy armpit. It's real life. Anyways, so I forgot what I was about to say. So sorry about that. Anyway, I have to cut that out. I'm saying all that to say that every smile that you paint on your face can emit an energy that goes back into someone's world. Me doing this goes back into someone's world. And I just hope that somehow it helps you. I hope that somehow it's a way of intimately connecting. It's an attempt for me to intimately connect with myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's easy for me to put on a mask and go out in public and, hi, how are you doing, and be professional and all that. But also, social media gave me, through what I had been through, a way to express myself in a way that I didn't know that I was able to, and also talking to myself and being able to look at myself and mirror what someone else may see is what was important. But anyway, so that's my little tidbit on the art. I don't know if people can relate. I don't know if anyone is out there facing a challenge. But God will put something on your heart, and it can seem really big. He shares with me all the time these corporate things and businesses, and how in-house will be a standard for how artists are advocated for and how they give so much to the world. I really want to make an emphasis that is the reason why I share content. It's the reason why I'm able to be so passionate, because I just feel like artists have given us back so much, so much of them. And my favorite art form is comedy. People don't understand how comedy can be so dark in such a healing way, because laughter is the best medicine. But the way that someone is able to use that art form to easily have the gift to bring that out of others, to smile or to laugh, oftentimes is processed in pain and refined into gold. Like, how does anyone do that? A lot of people in my friend group, small friend group that I have, I'm working on having more community and creating a community all together. But they think I'm hilarious, you know. I guess when I'm off on a tangent, you gotta really be, you know, in my inner circle. I've done stand-up one time anonymously in the world. Shout out to the person that took me out on that date, and I randomly got up there and roasted the first row. I don't know why I did that, but it was liberating and the healing and where I was in my path. But anyways, it's my favorite art form, and I just feel like it has to be protected because artists they need the room to create, you know what I'm saying? Like, I used to look at myself, I love numbers, I love business, I love analyzing the stock, all the boring stuff, and doing paperwork and collecting all this information, and passionate about sharing how that can still benefit an artist in the world. But I had to find a way to integrate my passion and why when I'm not an artist myself, and find the art within what I do in-house. And that all came from experience in life and the many people that I've come across that I've forgotten their names or whatever that God has used me in. But anyway, this is the second series. I'm sorry I'm not up in my loft upstairs in a fancy space. I'm in my intimate bedroom, just did my hair, got some interviews this week, and gotta live life and make the best of what I have. So thank you for sharing your art with the world. Thank you for the people who are subscribing and listening. It always shocks me to see like 500 views. I'm like, wow, 500 people are looking at what I say. I have no idea why. I'm a regular person, at least that's how I feel. I battle insecurities and things like that. I was married a long time, then divorced young, and I'm coming into the prime of life, I guess, where you've figured some things out and you kind of know what you want. I will be married again one day. I know that. My husband is out there. Shout out to you, because you get the refined Jesse, and that is just so good. And I hope I get the refined you too. Refined by the fire of our Lord Jesus Christ. I just want to pray for anybody out there that is watching. You can do this. One day you will have the things that God shows you. And it's because you're going to be obedient. And it's because you're going to trust yourself. And it's because you're going to know that Christ is within you, and that he lives in you and he loves you, and that you're not going to make it as complicated as it seems. You're not going to listen to the lies of the enemy. And you're going to be diligent in allowing it to unfold as it's already been written. I even too oftentimes dread where you are in life or how it's supposed to look and all these things, but only a man knows what him and God know. And so remember that you're deserving, you're worthy, and thanks for sharing your art with the world.